Uh-oh. Okay, so it finally happened. After about 10 years, I finally got a letter from the SS Stormtroopers that represent Porsche, their lawyers. They sent me an email about a week or two ago on some apparent copyright or trademark infringements that involved an event that I helped co-chair for 5 years that ended about 5 years ago. Just some background. I started an event, and for Porsche people out there, you might have heard about it, Porsches to Oxford. It was an event, it was like a casual drive-in, cruise-in. We started in 2005 and basically started it from scratch. First year we had 140 cars. By 2010 we were pulling 500 cars from 25 states and Canada. And it just became huge. I mean, it was really, alongside the Hershey swap meet, those were really the two biggest events in the country that weren't sponsored nationally by either Porsche or the Porsche Club of America. So it was pretty much impossible for anybody not to know about it, who had anything to do with Porsches, Porsche owners, Porsche dealerships, Porsche Cars North America, Porsche AG. You had to have been, deaf, dumb, and stupid not to have heard about it. So we, and this was an event that was, organized and sponsored by the, regional Porsche Club. Everything was run through them. And so, the event was called Porsches to Oxford. And we had a website, Porsches2Oxford.com. And we knew there may be some, gray area there that Porsche might not like about it, that we were using Porsches in the name of the domain name. But as the event got bigger and bigger, we kind of just figured, hey, better to ask for forgiveness and permission. And hey, they had to know about us. I mean, there's no way they could have possibly not known about us. I mean, we were advertising in national magazines, regional newsletters, and club magazines. I mean, we were everywhere. You couldn't have missed us if you tried. And never heard a thing. Never heard a peep. Probably because it was one of the greatest free publicity, marketing, and advertising events that they could possibly have for themselves as a manufacturer without them having to do anything. I mean, they weren't even a sponsor of the event. We tried to approach them in the past and they just blew us off. They didn't have anything to do with it. So for all those years, we were doing all this great stuff, all this stewardship, and being great ambassadors to the brand and to the name, and marketing their cars to, potential new owners and stuff like that. I mean, it was a pretty big windfall for Porsche. And like I said, we never heard anything about any potential, infringements of any kind. And so in 2010, I got out of the event, and eventually the event moved to another town and changed its name and so forth. So when I last got out of it, I had bought the domain for 10 years or something like that. And so there were still a few years left on the domain registration. So since the event moved, I just pointed the domain to Porsche.com, just left it as is. I figured that's the best place to point to it. So didn't hear anything. That was 2010. Now, 2016, I got a letter from the attorneys, the law firm, whatever it is that represents Porsche in their copyright, trademark infringements and all this stuff. And they think that, the goodwill has been tarnished by, the domain name and so forth. And they want it, either discontinued, taken down, or they want me to hand it over to them. And hey, whatever, probably if you know me, you'd think I kind of want to tweak them a bit and kind of just make their lives a little bit more aggravating than it needs to be. And I kind of thought about that, but at this point, I'm 5 years removed from the event, so I'm not even going to just hassle with it. I just took the domain registration down and discontinued it. So it's back up there on the market if anybody wants it. You know, if you want to go out and register it, you certainly can. But it's just really interesting that, you know, these folks never said a word about it when the event was going on, when it was impossible to miss. But 5 years later, they decide that, well, now's the time to do something about it, and I get a letter now about it. And that's what's funny about Porsche, man. I tell you what, they build great cars, but their interpersonal communication skills and their stewardship to their owners and the people that, you know, keep them employed and keep them building cars and selling cars, it just lacks a lot to be desired at times. And, you know, I mean, I'm totally okay with, you know, them saying, hey, you know, we believe it's, you know, a potential trademark infringement or something like that. You know, I'm totally on board with that. I'm not disputing that or anything like that. I'm just, you know, just questioning why you didn't say anything, you know, 5 and 10 years ago when this thing was going on. It was really big. You know, if it wasn't a problem then, how did it all of a sudden become a problem now? So that's what I've been dealing with over the last week or two, just trying to get this flushed out and get it behind me and all that stuff. You know, I try to deal with Porsche as little as I can anymore. I mean, I still belong to the club. I still drive the cars, but I tell you what, they can be backwards at times, and some of the things that they do and the timing in which they do them is just really interesting. So just thought I'd give you an update on that. I'll throw some pictures up in this video so you can see kind of what the event was back in 2005 through to 2010. It was a really cool event. I wish it was still around, but there were some people in the local Porsche club that kind of had different ideas about it and kind of ruined it, for, you know, lack of a better word. So in any case, that's an update on that. I'm still working on the buying and leasing video. That might take me a while, so that could be a week or so before I get that up. And until then, if you like this video, like it. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down and subscribe if you haven't already. Take care.